Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier and welcome to a no bullshit first time guide for Star Citizen. This technical guide is not geared solely towards new citizens. Here I'm covering a wide range of topics so you can quickly understand the project, how to choose smartly, and some grounding facts to curb frustration. I first became aware of Star Citizen in 2014 and since then I've rarely flown a starter ship. Content creators always tell future citizens that all they need to do is buy a starter game pack. This is technically true, but I wanted to explore what that experience would be like for myself. So today I made a fresh account, I bought a starter ship, and I put myself in that position of a new citizen. I have 5,000 UEC, 5,000 REC, Mustang Alpha, and Squadron 42. Before we talk about starter packages, renting equipment, and choosing game modes, let's first burst through what is Star Citizen in 53 seconds. Star Citizen is a game project that's being developed by an independent studio called Cloud Imperium Games led by Chris Roberts, a game developer best known for Wing Commander. It's the most crowdfunded project in history at $142 million and rising. The backers are given early access and are critical in the development cycle. Each patch is play tested by the backers and then improvements are made based on their feedback. Star Citizen was announced in 2011 with the goal of building a PC game unlike anything seen before. A living, seamless, massively multiplayer universe simulation with elements of space combat, first-person combat, exploration, and trading. Star Citizen revolves around two separate AAA games, Squadron 42, which is the campaign, and the MMOPU, called the Persistent Universe. The player will be immersed in a seamless open universe experience with millions of other players, and you get to choose what to do. Your successes or failure are directly related to your skill, planning, and teamwork. Now on to getting your first ship. Full game access is being offered as a game package. You need at least one game package to play. You also have the option to pledge for standalone ships which don't include a game package. You can do this if you decide to add more ships to your fleet later. Your best value right now is the Mustang Alpha starter, and at checkout I recommend getting Squadron 42 for $15. That's $60 full access for 2 games. Please don't worry about the more expensive ship packages being a better value. You can upgrade in the future without any penalty. Any money used in the store is a pledge to develop the game. You're not buying a ship, it's a perk to help you play, test, and get involved. When you create your account, you can use a referral code. This code will give you an additional 5,000 game credits, and the code owner will receive 1 referral point. Once you become a citizen, you're able to use your own referral code when you invite players to get your own points. These points add up and unlock small in-game perks such as weapons, hangar flare, or free access to additional ships. If you're about to make a new account, please use one of the codes that you see in the description. These codes aren't mine. I'm trying to help out some solid citizens, so I'd appreciate you supporting them. Good news, you now have an account and you have a ship. You now need to download the patcher and the game files. After you launch the game, you're going to see that the main menu has Universe, Star Marine, and Arena Commander. Universe tab has access to your hangar, R-Corp, and Crusader. The hangar will let you adjust and view your ship. This is your home and your garage. R-Corp is also known as Area 18, which is also called the social module. This test environment will let you experience a busy city and interact with other citizens. Crusader is also known as the Baby PU, but more on that later. Star Marine is the first-person combat test environment. This is brand new and it allows the developers to add and test player combat. Arena Commander is the racing, spaceflight, and space combat environment. Battle Royale and Squadron Battle are for competitive ship combat. These are most definitely not the first place that I would go to if I'm starting out. Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm allow you to solo or co-op against waves of AI targets. Free Flight will let you get used to the control systems without any distractions. I strongly suggest that you team up, set up voice comms, and get help from someone who knows what they're doing. The game isn't finished and there's no help files. All this is pretty overwhelming, and as a bonus, it sometimes changes between patches. To flatten out the learning curve, I'd like to suggest that you look into a program called Voice Attack and add an HCS voice pack. When configured properly, you can simply say the command that you'd like and the software will do it. This makes the learning process shorter and the whole experience less daunting. Crusader is the main focus of game development. It's known as the Baby Persistent Universe. This is the small sandbox of space where new features are added and tested. The performance isn't optimized, and that's an understatement. I'm making this video primarily to help new citizens understand what they're getting into. The game is in alpha, and you need to approach Crusader and Star Citizen in general with a very open mind. No other game project has ever given its players this level of early access. This is a double-edged sword because the players that can help test can also quickly jump to conclusions. The forums are full of the same frustrated questions all the time. Those frustrated citizens are the very people that I make these videos for. Please don't hesitate to link them this video. In 3 years, I've personally seen this game grow from an idea into the start of a universe. Each year is marked with the seemingly impossible goal becoming a game feature. I've even started to notice that I now take for granted some game features that blew my mind last year. Sometimes we have long stretches between patches. This is a hard reality being part of the development. As a new citizen with a starter package, you now have full access to everything. As a backer, there won't be any future additional purchases needed. You're about to set off with your new Mustang Alpha. Please understand though, you need to remember the role. A Toyota Prius and a NASCAR are both cars. However, they serve a completely different role. The Mustang Alpha is a delivery van. It'll let the citizen perform basic commerce, basic exploration, and basic combat. With role, you also have to consider the right tool for the job. This isn't a pay-to-win situation, but just like in real life, you do get what you pay for. There's no need to upgrade that starter, but if you plan to go after fighters in a delivery van, you're gonna die a lot. That reality is why I say it's not pay to win. It's not imbalanced, but it's perfectly realistic and totally acceptable. This is what I was reminded of today when I took that basic ship into Arena Commander. Compared to my Vanguard, I was poorly protected, undergunned, and when I picked a fight, I lost every time. It was a humbling experience that forced me to play a little bit differently. I was so used to being able to charge into a sector without any real consequence. The universe seemed more exciting when I had more to lose. I needed to skirt around other players and pick a smart route. So the starter is actually your best and safest pledge, and with the ability to rent, what the content creators say is very accurate. You only need a starter to experience the entire alpha. Let's talk about currency. There are 4 types right now, here's what they are and when to use them. Game credit is actual money. When you want to change your ship, you can return it, which is otherwise known as melting. If you melt a game package, you're going to need to buy another one before you can play again. There's actually no reason to melt if all you want to do is upgrade. That's what the CCU or cross-chassis upgrade system is for. UEC is the game credit that's going to be used once the game goes live. You can use it to buy ship components, however those can be rented, so I suggest just keeping it. REC is rental credit. You get it by playing in competitive matches. The better you are, the faster you'll make it. You can use this currency to rent weapons, components, or even ships. Renting might give you a better advantage, which will make it easier to make more rec. And finally, AUEC or Alpha UEC. This represents UEC before launch. It's reset to 0 along with any items that you buy every time we get a new patch. Performing missions in the universe pay in AUEC. This lets the developers see how the economy balance is performing and make future adjustments. On to some strategy and final remarks. Starting out today with my starter, my goal was to rent a better ship to be more competitive. My goal was an Aegis Gladius, which is a great light fighter. I started out in free flight making sure that the controls were set and I got used to flight. I knew that it wouldn't be competitive, but I took my Mustang into races anyways to work on my flight. This got me a little bit of rec to start out with and a much better grasp on how the ship handles. I went into the hangar to look at what could be done with the ship. The front has a pair of M3As, but there are 2 additional hardpoints that are free for a size 1 weapon. I went into electronic access and spent 800 rec on a second pair of M3As, which would double my firepower. Back in the hangar, I used the item port system to install the new guns. It was now time for Vandalstorm co-op with an Orkmate. By locking my weapons with right Alt and J, I was able to get all the weapons on target at once. Wave after wave, I was getting more rec and more experience. I purposefully stayed out of Battle Royale and Pirate Swarm. The Mustang Alpha won't handle PvP very well, and it'll have a hard time with some of the later waves in Pirate Swarm. After a pretty long grind, I now have the 9,000 REC that I need to rent the Gladius. I can now be competitive, and I have a good understanding of how the ship systems work and how to target enemy. And with more rec, I can rent different weapons to improve over the base loadout. When a streamer, YouTuber, or citizen tells a new pilot that all they need is a starter ship, it's accurate. As I found out today, what they're proposing can be very frustrating unless you know all the facts that I present in the video. It's a starter, and there's nothing stopping you from pledging more money to go straight up and buy a Gladius. I personally don't think you should buy anything more than a starter until after you put some time in the game. I hope this guide gets you the head start that you need to avoid the frustrating initial game experience. Start with a Mustang Alpha package. Find a friendly org to help you get up to speed. Consider using voice attack early on. Accept that a starter ship isn't a strong fighter. And pick a rental goal and grind. Thank you very much for spending your time with me today. My content is no bullshit. If you like this direct approach and you got something out of the video, please consider subscribing to stay up to date. Please help me spread the word about Star Citizen by linking the video to a new citizen or friend. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the verse.